Welcome, Joanna. How are you?
Thank you, Michelle. It's lovely being here. Very nice to be able to meet up with you like this and talk about things that really matter for wonderful people that somehow get stuck. They're amazing, amazing individuals, and yet there's something about their feelings that stops them from really, truly enjoying their lives. So I'm so happy to be able to talk about that with you today.
So, as I mentioned in the preamble about people taking that time to make a cup of tea, to sit back and relax, we do invite them through the podcast to do the same, to take the time. But then we have this lovely transformation time because we're talking about ways to engage and energetically change. So, what have you got in your cup of inspiration today? What did you bring?
Let's see. Oh, it's hot. So I have a cup of ginger tea with lemon. So it's all natural, no caffeine, and it's supposed to be calming and soothing, and it fits right into the subject of today, actually.
And then your mug. Your mug is so beautiful. For those who are on the podcast, you can't see it's blue. It's got flowers on it. It's kind of a whimsical kind of paint design on it. You want to talk about the mug?
Yes, I have been called to do this work, and when I decided to really go for it, jump off that cliff of security and job security. I decided to take this step, and I put down five um, requirements as to where my space, my clinic was supposed to be. And within just a few weeks, all these little simple requirements, distance from home, simplicity, access, all these little things, um, materialized very, very rapidly. And as I took over the space, the person that had it before left a few things behind. And the color, the branding of these cups matches perfectly with my branding, and it felt very much like it was meant to be on even another level. So we went fast, it was easy to get, the price was right, everything was right. And the last sign was the branding colors. So that was really fun.
Isn't that neat? I just love how things come together and then how we use those tools, like particularly mugs, because for me, I'm always trying to find that mug that feels right, sets my day. I love that story. Um, I have my mug is I have this happy face mug,
Oh,
so it's my mug of sunshine, and
oh,
this I'm showing you the sign that's winking, which is kind of that spirit, um, quirkiness, I guess, just to bring some fun
yes,
into it. And
I
inside,
love it.
I put Summer Breeze in here, and this is from our Cape Breton Tea Company. This is one that's like a raspberry lemonade, so it has the hints of lemon,
Mm.
hints of berry, um, and it just makes you feel like you're down at the beach. Which we're
Oh,
recording this podcast in February. We are definitely not at the beach. We have snow on the
no.
ground, and we've had freezing rainstorms. So I wanted to capture a little of that sunshine today. So
Yes,
thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
And here we say slange when we do a cheer. Is there anything that you say where you live?
Oh, not for tea, but we can say cheers, which is kind of just, well wishing. And in Sweden, because I'm in Sweden, you say skål.
Mm,
So we
beautiful.
can, wish everyone well by saying skål.
School. I love it. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right. So let's chat about. I was so intrigued by the title that you chose, trying to offer to people what it is you do for them and how you can support them. So you're known as the emotional success expert. Can you tell me how you got to this line of work?
Well, I suppose there's a story there as well. And if I will try to make it short, I became a seeker after having my children. My firstborn became the beginning of trying to find the meaning of life. Why and what is it all about? What kind of world do I want to put my children into, and the environment? What kind of environment? What do I want to share with them on a deeper level, on a higher level? So in the search, I discovered all kinds of wonderful tools. But because I'm a bit impatient, I want easy, simple, soothing, nice, quick results for myself as a therapist or a coach or a healer. I wanted the same for the people that come to me and are in pain, discomfort, and I wanted a very efficient solution. So I basically found EFT. It found me, however you want to express it. And I have been extremely, extremely happy with those solutions that are just that: quick, easy, simple, pleasant, and it works really, really well. And it's been working all these years. But then I have started again, because I mean, each therapist kind of goes back to themselves, trying to um, find out more for themselves. It's like the person that gives needs to grow in order to be able to give more. So on that journey, I have discovered more spiritual and yet scientific solutions in addition to EFT. So that's in the last few years I've been working and incorporating that into EFT. So because I'm running my own business, it's all about branding, and there's all kinds of business issues as well. And I've come to the realization that it's about success. It's about success, the success that most people are looking for, and happiness and all of that. It starts with the emotions. So if you're having emotions that aren't working so great and not feeling so great, it ruins your success. So it starts with the inside, whereas so many people try to start with the outside. So that's kind of the short version.
I love it, because you're right, and that was one of the parts that I started to talk about as well. Is how we go for the bubble bath, we try to read a good book, get lost in the book, watch TV. That's a great way to relax at the end of the day. Make a cup of tea and sit and look out the window, which are all lovely, but they don't change the circumstances. So once you have to turn around and step back into what is your life, you're right back to the same position that you started in. And so that leads you to, you want more time to have to relax, yet you still aren't making the headway that you really want. So with that, do you want to talk a little bit about how that stress and that worry, how you work with that, and how you can transform that for people?
Well, I've discovered that stress and worry are somewhat shameful feelings. Um, and stress, I guess people can admit to having. But worry becomes more personal. Worry is not something that you necessarily talk about at work, or with your colleagues, or with your the people that you interact with in a business meeting or network meeting. Uh, and vulnerability is, in my mind, a layer even deeper inside that you definitely don't share over a cup of coffee with even your closest friends. The things that bother you the most, that are shameful, that you find shameful, uh, are very difficult to kind of clear out. You can complain about the weather, you can complain about the kids, you can complain about the husband or your partner, but there are certain feelings on the inside that you will not even maybe admit to having for yourself. You do everything you can to to push away or ignore, or um, work away, or start running, or you start creating coping mechanisms that push it down because you don't even want to handle it. But with time, these stresses, worries, your most intimate, delicate feelings will bubble up. They will want to um, be cleared out. They really, really want to be cleared out. They don't want to be inside of you, bothering you. But because you don't want to talk to them, you're pushing them down. Depression is pressing something down away. So just talking about these things with your friends or your therapist, or helps a bit. It does make things feel a bit better, but not necessarily. You don't necessarily reach the core. I call my version happier EFT, because I'm adding joy, uh, um, techniques, specific and on purpose, um, emotion improvements as opposed to emotion relief. And so, yes, I use EFT, where you use the body to heal the mind or the thoughts or the feelings. So you use the entire physique. You tap on acupuncture or acupressure points or acupoints, in order to reach what's stagnated, what has become hardened, pressed down so much that it's very, very difficult with your own volition to release and relieve and clear out. So you work with your body to reach the mind, and then with my happier EFT, I add particular joy techniques to get there even faster, or even in a more pleasurable way. Yes. Was that the answer to your question?
Yeah, and so then, so you happier EFT, right? That's what you said? Okay, so do you want to dive into a little bit of how that came to be? I understand you added more techniques in and more studying to go with the EFT. So how did you come up with the idea of that happier EFT? I love it.
Well, I had been working with EFT and clients for probably 5, 6, let's say 8 years. And I was asking for even better tools, even because EFT is really, really good. But most people and my clients, they came to relieve something not so nice. They came to get rid of that darkness or discomfort, or the wrong. They were trying to get rid of what was wrong. And then once they got rid of it, they got to this kind of neutral place. Um, so I was wondering and asking the universe if there was something even better. I wasn't satisfied with just kind of getting back to normal. And for most of us, we can relate to normal being this kind of neutral, nice, yeah, nothing is wrong kind of a place. But was there something more? So when I started asking this question, I started getting my own connection to some sort of a higher space, feeling, intuition, God, whatever you want to call it, that you relate to being higher, better, more wonderful, beautiful. Um, and I started connecting to that. And in seconds, I could just change the state of just kind of, yeah, being okay with life to this magnificent, beautiful feeling of bliss. That would be the best, highest, uh, most magnificent word that I can think of, bliss. And it wasn't difficult getting there. Once you put yourself in the body, in your mind, you align in a particular way, um, and you can just get there immediately. And your whole reality shifts, and the mundane things of everyday life start sparkling, start becoming beautiful. Worries don't bother you, the everyday worries that you wouldn't seek help for, but the annoyances, the little bothers of everyday life that you wouldn't necessarily make a big deal out of, but they don't necessarily make your life great. So all of that vanished. And I also noticed that this state, this beautiful place of being, living, I call it heaven on earth, living heaven on earth, because that's my vision or word explanation for it, cleared away the darkness, the really bad, difficult issues of questioning, being dissatisfied, worrying, what's going to happen, because things happen to everyone. But the 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 darkness vanished when I allowed myself to be in this beautiful space. So I got help cleaning out things. So instead of working on the things, I put myself up here, and this other stuff disappeared, got lighter, easier to clean out. And it's been a struggle, and that sounds weird to say, because it's so easy that people don't believe it. They don't think that can be this easy. And that belief is actually the belief that makes it not possible. So it's a funny truth where things are supposed to be easy, and human bodies, people, our mindset is for some reason set so that it's supposed to be difficult, it's supposed to be complicated, it has to be a technique, it has to be, but in reality, it's supposed to be easy.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that an amazing statement to be able to make? When you think about
It is.
all of it, because all of us get into the work because we have a struggle of some sort and we're trying to solve
Mm-hmm.
it. We haven't found the answer to solve it. So eventually you come across what works. But then to know that it's easy. We didn't have to have it so hard. It's just, I know people listening thinking there's no way. And I remember when I lost, I had so much emotion pocketed in my feet, I lost the ability to walk on them. And I was at a dance workshop unable to dance. I was participating
Ooh.
horribly, but but from the side. And the instructor, who was in her 60s at that time, was saying she had the privilege of all of her injuries. And I was thinking, there's no way. In the pain I'm in, there's no way. And then to discover those techniques could erase all of those pieces and I could have actual joy in my feet, unheard of. But yet, when you go down to the tool, yeah, very simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how you thought about that space of, because a lot of times people do sit at that neutral kind of place. There's not too much bothering them. They're not quite sure where they want to go, but that's okay because status quo is good opposed to struggle, but then not to know how to go to that next place where the day does sparkle, where you do see the joy when you look out the window and it's not just snow on the ground. It's actually here. It's like I call them diamonds because when the sun shines on the snow, there's these amazing diamonds that happened in Cape Breton. I didn't always see that out in the West, but when you see that, that just reminds you of the beauty of nature. But you can see it from that perspective rather than, oh, it's another winter day. Oh, the snow is still on the ground. How much longer till spring? Those kinds of comments that come back.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about those, you put like a magical word on the snow, and the magical feeling is a healing feeling. So for so many years now, magic in our part of the world anyway has been somewhat erased, has been uh, gotten rid of at the price of being clever and capable and having a title, educated. But when it comes to the simplicity that we spoke of, the magical feeling of feeling that something is thrilling and exciting, that feeling heals your body. So it's not magic, woo woo, silly, um, not practical or serious or real. It is real. Um, and more science shows that it is real. More and more science is showing that you should imagine more, you should pretend more, you should dream more, because the love hormones, oxytocin, starts spreading in your body and healing your cells and the actual and factual things. So I love how you know created or found a beautiful name for the snow crystals. Really, really nice.
I always have to find the diamond in the day, right?
Yeah, yes.
um, lots of people have challenges with sleep, and I hear lots about, can't go to sleep or they get to sleep, but then they're awake early. They haven't had enough sleep. That's a common phrase that people use. I haven't had enough sleep. Even though they may have gone to bed at a good time and they had the opportunity for a good 8 hours, it still doesn't feel like they've had rest when they get up. Can you talk a little bit about how you've worked with clients with those kinds of issues and the results you've had?
I have, I'm sorry, I need to cough. I've had clients come in and they've been struggling with sleep for years often. And sleep is not just about putting a person through an EFT session, because sleep has to do with what you eat and how you behave as well. So I will look at what the people, the person that comes to me, what they eat, what they drink, how they behave, what time of the day they go to sleep, if they take naps, and then we do a particular adjusted EFT session, because EFT tapping, when you tap on these acupuncture points, it can energize you. Sometimes it calms you down, but sometimes it energizes you. So I have a particular way of calming the person down, and then I have them envision themselves being in bed and struggling, and then seeing themselves healing and feeling better. Well, in this case, feeling more tired and calm and relaxed, which oftentimes they're not feeling, although they're laying in bed and it's time to sleep. They're bothered by something that happened during the day, some issues going on in their lives, stress, worry, planning. The more ambitious the person is, the more easy it is for them to fall into this trap of bringing the day with them into bed. And letting go of that is not all that simple. But EFT is actually several techniques in one. I say that it's the best, the most tasty raisins. I don't know if this is Swinglish. The tastiest raisins from many cakes. So EFT has picked like the best bits, and so you feel and sense in your whole body. You visualize. That's one of the techniques. And by visualizing and feeling the calmness, using EMDR to you end up in the feeling, and it's the feeling that puts you to sleep. So once you've cleared out the mind, you're not full of caffeine or sugar, for example, bread maybe, you feel, you allow yourself to feel, you allow yourself not to bring the issues with you. You allow yourself to step back. And stepping back is very, very difficult for the modern person. The more ambitious, the business owner, the CEO, the entrepreneur, that is so difficult because their whole being, DNA, is about doing, achieving, and sleep is everything but doing and achieving. So it's a very experiential treatment where you feel and see and realize that, oh, okay, I can do this when I'm at home in bed as well. So people get very quick results. I'd say the average therapy or treatment is 4 sessions, and people can go back to sleep and sleep soundly, and get their good night's refreshing sleep.
And you mentioned EMDR. You just want to talk just for a moment for those people that heard those 4 little initials, what that means, just so they know.
Yes, it's eye movement, because you move your eye, desensitization and reprogramming. When I'm the perfect example of when I need to access a part of my brain, when I want to access a memory, or I'm trying to phrase something clearly and succinctly, I look down to access something. And when you have an issue, when you have something that bothers you, you're thinking, stress is going on, you're planning, you want to solve something for the future, the next day, whatnot. So you're processing all of that. And all of this activity is going on. It's the chattering mind, and you can, with the eye movements, basically rub away the need to be processing. You can calm down all this thinking that is going on as you're rubbing away the bother with your eyes. I mean, that's the most layman person explanation I can think of. So you use these movements, you move your eyes, you circle your eyes, and you're changing the the intensity, the pain or the need to solve something, because it can be painful to let go. People that try to meditate, if you've ever tried to meditate, you know how painful it is to sit still and calm your mind. Whereas here, you're actually doing something and the mind is being calmed down so that you can go into the body and feel the soothing calmness in order to fall over into the sleep zone, the sleep realm.
Um, just as you were saying that, I was thinking about, because I don't like to sit and meditate just with no movement. My body, when it wants to relax, likes the movement. It enjoys that movement. So that's why I do Tai Chi, which is moving meditation. But just as you were explaining the eyes, I was thinking, oh, I do tell my students about the eye scanning that happens while we're doing Tai Chi, but it never occurred to me the back part of what those eyes were doing. I wasn't thinking in terms of the background of EMDR and what it supports, and where the eyes really take us. So thank you for that, because I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. So it was a good description.
And it actually, they see in brain scans how your thoughts take different paths. Because normally you would be thinking, oh, I have to fix this, I have to solve this, my little child, or my colleague at work, or my boss, or I have to get this business off the ground. I have to, and your thinking takes certain paths in the brain. But when you do this and you calm it down, you soothe it, all of a sudden the thoughts are going another way in your brain. Oh, maybe I don't have to do it now. Maybe I can um, take a long weekend. I deserve to take a break from trying to figure this out, etc., etc. You create, you allow for better solutions, maybe more intuitive solutions, and more honest and true to yourself solutions, which is really, really beautiful. That you, when you get rid of this monkey mind, you via the feelings find what you really need to be doing
Mm-hmm.
on a
Mm-hmm.
better level, easier, more effective, nicer, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. Let's shift conversation just a little bit to a topic that's been coming up. I think the buzzwords have been more and more about the imposter syndrome. People not believing in themselves that they are who they are, or the title that they carry, and that they have the experience or expertise that people are looking to them for. And so, how that's really causing some distress for people. Can you talk a little bit about how you work with clients in that case?
Well, clients that are managers or leaders, or I mean, you can be leader of your family, people that feel that they need to do something well meaning, they have all kinds of thoughts and rules that they have either heard, that you need to do this, you need to be like this, you need to have these qualifications, you need to be this clever and this capable. Um, and then based on their own background and however they grew up and whatever they heard as a child, you need to be the best, you need to never be upset, never complain, never show weakness. There's all kinds of rules that people have, very, very smart and clever and highly positioned people. Um, and they start hurting on the inside. So they don't necessarily know why they're hurting. Um, they blame the marriage, the kids, the house, the car, need to get another one, a better one. Uh, but they come here because they can't take it anymore. It's too painful being themselves. Like their life is not working, their life puzzle isn't working, in spite of all this outer success that they're having. So we take an honest look, and oftentimes they don't even want to admit this, because the higher up you are, the more you need to um, um, not show weakness, and you need to lead people, and you need to lead by example. And a lot of well-meaning people think that they should hold it together, that that is the solution to success and showing the coworkers how to do things better. Um, but in my world, what I see, what I help people discover, is that that's not true. You need to let yourself go. You need to let your hair down. You need to admit that things aren't working out. I made a mistake. All these so-called um, wrong traits that people think of themselves as having, they're right, because there's signals that something isn't working, that you have put a lid on your dreams and hopes and wishes to maybe move, change countries, simplify your life, selling everything that is calling your attention and stealing your time, and you just want to be on that beach, drinking Michelle's tea and just dreaming. And so oftentimes it's about letting the person, helping the person admitting to something deeper, a dream, a wish, a desire, um, and understanding that that is not wrong. It's not wrong being sensitive. I get highly sensitive people coming here. They're not wrong that they get sad about things that they're not supposed to, according to, all these rules and regulations out there. Softness is a strength. And when they accept that they are okay being soft or gentle, or not so efficient and not so accurate, that there's a better path for them that isn't accurate. Not everyone has to be accurate. Not everyone has to be detail minded. They become a free person. They can be free to be themselves. The bothers don't bother them. Issues with people and coworkers and don't bother them. So again, it's about going inwards to get a better outwards. Your success, and your desire for the successes that you thought you needed changes when you see that simplicity and ease trumps the new car, or the better house, or the new curtains, or more money in the bank account. I'm not saying those are wrong, but if you start with being in the right place no matter what, then everything else is a bonus, as opposed to chasing after certain specifics. You will be happy, very happy, extremely happy in a tiny house, and you won't have to worry about mortgages. You won't have to worry about having to repair this big structure constantly. You have a tiny house. I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying that tiny houses are the success formula.
Mhm.
But it's about finding out what's the success without things for you. Do I want to be by the beach? Do I want to be in the mountains? Where do I want to be? Why? And most most everything is about letting go and backing away and allowing yourself to see your truth, letting your truth come to you and talk to you and speak to you so you can follow that, as opposed to the rules of society or the rules of how to, be successful on paper or pictures or um, items, possessions. So everything goes back to the authentic feeling. So I help people
Mhm.
get there in a very soothing, pleasurable. Sometimes there's a tear, but you don't need to be bawling your eyes out to get these shifts and ease and direction, sense of purpose. All these wonderfully big words that are really very, very simple. What makes your heart sing? It's really about that.
Beautiful. We've talked about EFT, we've talked about the eye movements. Do you want to just lead us through a little something that can kind of illustrate how a mini session might work, or even something that people could use as a daily little piece just to bring that sparkle back into their day?
I would like to ask whoever's watching us to maybe settle down in their seat more comfortably, more grounded, shake the day off or things that they need to do, shake it off a little bit to feel the body, close the eyes to be able to sense what's going on. It's easier to sense when you close your eyes. And just do a little micro tapping, which involves just the head and the chest. There are other points that you can tap, but just for the simplicity and ease, something that the viewer can bring with them. Um, if the person, I mean, I'll talk to you, Michelle. If you just tap on your head and
So
feel
top
the tap,
top and
top of
center.
head, yeah. And there are a few acupuncture points up here. So if you just tap on top of your head and just feel it, because all emotional improvement has to do with feelings and releasing whatever doesn't sit right, feel right. But it's also about this joy and pleasure. So try to set good about tapping lightly, not hard. It's not supposed to be painful at all. And then sense what it feels like to tap between the eye. Well, at the beginning of each eyebrow, there's an acupuncture point. So if you tap, yeah, and then if you tap on the outside of your eye socket, and there's 2 points there. So you kind of tap on the edge of your skull. There's a hole that the eye sits in. So on the edge of that skull part.
And
And
so you've got
under,
two fingers there.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or you can just tap up and down. And then underneath the eye, on top of the bone, the edge of your eye socket, you could say, and just feel the feeling. So many of us don't feel, we just do. But it's about feeling what's nice about this. And if you close your eyes, you can sense it better, easier. And under the nose, there's an acupuncture point there. And just feel it. So
So you're on
many
the
people
top of your lip
do.
this time.
Yes, top of the lip. There's a
Okay.
little um, indentation. And then there's an indentation under your lips. and just feel the feeling. Just allow yourself to feel what's nice about this little tap. And then collarbones,
So you,
the collarbones, like, or below the collarbones, I guess, because
and
the
you're coming
collarbones,
straight down from the throat.
yes. So now bones under your face. So you just go from the top and down. You follow the facial structure. And then there are acupuncture points in the middle of your chest, between the breasts. Men and women have breasts. In the middle of the chest, there are several points. So you can tap a little up and down and just sense. Close your eyes to sense and feel more. It's easier to feel the nuances when you close your eyes. And put your hand down. Just a little micro tapping. And exhale. And see where that puts you. See if that shifts anything. See if that makes you think of something easier, lighter, more pleasurable. And exhale and ground yourself in the body. So if you do this several times, you can feel how your whole body starts releasing and relaxing. And when you allow this release and relaxation, the so-called love hormones, the oxytocin, starts flowing, and it actually physically, factually starts healing, restoring the body, the cells. So this is a very quick little practice that you can do at your work desk. You can sit in front of a beautiful view. You might have a view outside of your window that you can focus and take in. So you can add different elements to make it even nicer, even more pleasurable, to put yourself in this state of relaxation, release, and healing. So that would be the quickest way of tapping down the face. And if you forget where the points were, just tap wherever you want, because there are acupuncture points everywhere, all over your body. So don't get stuck on how was it I was supposed to do it. Just feel the feeling of tapping it down, and exhale and release, and sense where you feel pleasure. And again, as I mentioned before, this pleasure feeling will help you solve difficulties. So this is a very simple, simplistic micro version that you can have with you whenever you need.
And it's interesting. I know when people will be thinking about solving challenges, making a decision, and when everything kind of gets bottled up, it's really hard to make that decision. But to realize it's just that transformation allows for the space for the decision to be there, rather than all the other thoughts that can come flowing in, which can hinder you getting to the part that you need in order to make the decision. So it's lovely to know that, and did that take us less than 2 minutes? You would be able to be in that position of going, oh, I know exactly what I need to do, and off you go. And so many people think, I just don't have time to get to that state, but it actually isn't very long to get there. It's a short trip. Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
How can they find you, Joanna? Where's your contact information?
The simplest way to find me is to go to blissyjoy.com. That's Blissy with a Y. So Blissy Joy, also with a Y, two I's. .com, and I post news and scientific findings and research and courses and whatever is up next. So there's always something that someone can use and get help. I have free resources if someone wants even more help. I run groups, I do individual coaching. So whatever fits and whatever the person listening would like help with, they can take a look there and see if something speaks to them.
Perfect. And you do your work online as well. So
Yes.
so where people are located isn't a barrier. Um,
No.
Perfect. Beautiful. Um, to finish off today, I always like to finish with some kind of movement to recommend people just to get them away from their desks or out of the car, whatever happens to be that stationary position they put themselves into. What would you recommend today, or what's your favorite go-to thing?
Well, since I like quick and easy and simple, and your cup helps me to put a face on it, because your cup was silly, cheeky, um, uh, and people in certain positions and leaders and entrepreneurs and tend to take themselves a bit seriously, and they have to show others um, uh, how good and strong and important their work is, but they really need to learn to take themselves less seriously. So just shaking it out and making a scrunchy face, and like even just sitting, the simplest thing. You don't even have to get up and make space, and you don't have to, create any sort of move furnitures or anything. You just crunch up your face and just make it like a really silly face, and maybe you like make a silly sound and shake your body and shake it out. Maybe you sound like a horse or whatever silly you can think of. And take a deep breath and notice how things shift and seem simpler and less bothering or bothersome and heavy. Life is supposed to be light, simple, joyful, but negative, so-called negative feelings are not wrong. They're messengers. So don't scold your negative feelings or things that don't feel good. They're not to be pushed away, ignored. Meet them. Start contacting them. Start contacting them, and but do it in this spirit of lightheartedness and joy and heart-centeredness, and it will all figure itself out so much easier.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh, it's like almost like a shiver went down my back, and it was like, oh, that feels so much better. It's just like, not that my back was tight, because after we did all the tapping, I was sitting taller, felt longer, and then that little piece just allowed for kind of whatever to just kind of shake off, which is what we were doing. But it just did that little shiver almost that comes down, and then it's like, oh, okay, ready to go. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
I was going to share some movement with my feet, but being that I'm sitting down and you're sitting down, I'm going to go to my hands instead, because that's easy to do. And it goes along with that shaking bit. And that's just making a fist and then just popping the hands open with a pow.
Mm.
And I often do this with, if I'm teaching the preschoolers, then the ABCs, and just A, B, C, D, and just run through the alphabet, just letting those hands pop. And that ability to, you make that fist, which is holding everything in, but then you have this lovely release that comes out with the hands. And when you open that chakra in the palm, you have that opportunity to expand the way the energy is. We would call that monster fingers in dance. And then you can call them hits if you're putting your hands out. So if someone was trying to make a decision, as an example, and they're thinking, they haven't quite got there yet, and they've maybe run through the tapping pieces to be able to run through the alphabet and just move through it. And if you're standing, let your body move with it, shift from foot to foot, and kind of just play with it. Again, being silly with it. But it's a lovely way to let go. So.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to the end. Is there anything you think we missed?
Well, I don't know if we missed it, but I guess I would like to say it again. Allow yourself to lean back, shake it out, tap it out. Let those feelings tell you something. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be ashamed of them. They're not wrong. They're all there for a reason, and they're all there. They can teach you all kinds of wonderful things. Don't be afraid to connect with your innermost feelings, no matter how sensitive or vulnerable they seem to be. It's all good, and just keep on letting yourself be more and more you. That's what I'd like to say.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Joanna, for sharing the time and your expertise and putting a light on taking those feelings that we do have and realizing the support they provide us and the way that they lead us to success. And I appreciate the way that you bring bliss and joy into the world and into the people that you touch. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And you do great work as well, bringing all this information out. So thank you for doing that.
My pleasure. I love podcast recording day. It's always a delight. You've been listening to Be Well with Michelle Greenwell, and this episode has been sponsored by Dance Debut Inc., providing movement programs to create a flourishing lifestyle while achieving your goals and ambitions and enjoying the activities that may be on your bucket list. If you are a desk-bound person spending lots of time at the computer or maybe sitting in your car driving from location to location, consider our programs, which include intention. We have Balancing Business, and you can learn more at dancedebut.com. And also, it's been sponsored by the Cape Breton Tea Company. Bring a little of our countryside and our hospitality into your day with a luxurious cup of the tastes and sounds of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And today was Sea Breeze. So, or spring, summer breeze, sorry. Sea breeze, I just wanted to go down to the ocean. Summer breeze, bringing in the idea of the summer. Thank you so much, Joanna.
Thank you, Michelle.